If you think of yourself as these three treasures, that I am a body with physiological functionality, I'm a mind with whatever that is. We don't really know how the mind works or where the mind is. We know about the nervous system, we know about the neurotransmitters, but those are the body. That's not the mind. And so the body becomes a host for the presence of this thing that we call mind, which is unique to each of us. So we have our own persona, we have our own stories that we tell, we have our tragedies that are all associated with our persona. And then we have a third component of ourself, which we could call the spiritual self, the transcendental self, the transpersonal self. And that's even less easy to describe. When we say that we don't know where the mind is, we know that the mind is somewhere associated with who we are, because that mind has our biases and our preferences. Whereas the spirit is very likely infinite, boundless, timeless, and kind of visiting here. And so we could ask the question, let's do a practice, and it's going to look like it's a body practice, and it's going to look like it's a breath practice, and it's going to seem like a mental emotional practice. But actually what it is that we use the body and we use the breath and we use the mind to be able to clear, as it says in numerous ancient Chinese texts, which are pretty much derived, I don't want to say it that way, pretty much equal to the same ideas in Buddhism from India, that there's a presence of an eternally well being in this physical and mental emotional being. And so one of the things that people will say, well, gee, that practice that you did was interesting, but it was so slow. And I mean, and how could you, it's not really an exercise, right? And the answer is, you're exactly right. It's not an exercise. I'm not sure we have the word, we could say it's a personal ritual of celebration of the natural self, which is undistressed by the complexities of the dimensional life that we live in these four dimensions and on this planet and in this body. And so I want you and everyone who's tuned in here to know that the reason why a practice like this looks so weird is that it isn't based on, you can't say that it isn't based on enhancing the function of the heart, because it does. And you couldn't say that it doesn't enhance the function of the metabolism, because it does. But it does it in a context where it's also soothing the angst self, and also clearing spaciousness within our own being for the ample and even I don't want to say exaggerated, I want to say robust expression of the natural presence of the spiritual self. And one last thing to say about that is that self cannot get sick, and that self does not die. And so we're really doing an exercise here that could heal the body and soothe the mind, but it's really to create and remind ourselves, and then create and continue to create and clean out, so that there's nice open presence of the aspect of ourself which cannot be harmed, the aspect of ourself which is invincible. So, that's fairly compelling.
How perfect that you're here. How perfect that we're having this moment. And as you were talking, really, I could feel my electrical field start to buzz.